Today we will talk a little bit about roles transformation. So hello, I'm Przemek. And how are you today? After yesterday party? Who drink too lot? Raise your hands. Yeah, very, very good. So I'm a little bit stressed because I've never talked to so many people. But I'm also anxious because I like the topic I will talk about. So first, credits. I would like to give credits for Dave Snowden for enabling constraints and for scaffolding, which I will show you in a moment. And to Morningstar for role contracts. So the purpose of these presentations is to help you define roles in your transformation. So I will give you a recipe. So after this presentation, you can go to me and I give you a certificate of you can be agile role transformers. 100% successful. So I strongly believe that roles transformation is one of the hardest part of the structure change. Are you agree with me? No, yes, maybe. So I think it's the hardest part because of two things, that certainty and status threats needs are threatened in this. So imagine if you look at the Scrum Guide, if you look at these different agile frameworks, that there are, for example, in Scrum Guide, there are no managers. Yeah? What about architects? What about project managers? They're missing. So the people are afraid what happens with them in these roles. So that's why it's not so easy. So I will start with some story. It happens at Intel last year. So we are in this moment of transformation when we finish the organization proof of concept, when we have a special place in organization when we can experiment in new roles with the Spotify model, blah, blah, blah. And it was quite successful, so managers decide to scale it up to the whole organization. And first, okay, so we need to redefine our roles. So they start discussing before the holiday summer season, and they continue on September and October. It's fine because they discuss it in the group. It's not like one head of manager, some senior manager just sit and write this role description. They discuss it, but this is quite a long process. And they do it like usually. So this is a description of the role. This role should do this and this and this and this and this. And this role should do this and this and this and this and this. Yeah? So imagine after a few months, this group energy level like drops down, yeah. And at the end, the people just wanted to finish that, yeah. So put everything you want in this stupid role, but finish these stupid meetings. Yeah. You find similar situation in your organization? Yeah. So is it possible to do it one day? To have a strong role definitions in one day? I believe yes, so and I will show you how to do that. So I use 4 concepts: purpose, emerging constraints, scaffolding, and roles contracts in this exercise. So we started to do it differently. We book a room, we find representatives of different roles, we put a flip chart, so one flip chart per role, and try to define it. So we start with a purpose. Oh yeah, before we start, you need to be sure that there are at least some level of understanding what Agile is and how we should define Agile roles. Without that, you can go into some dead end. So understand Agile roles. So roles should have a strong purpose. Yeah, and this is the hardest part of this exercise, because it must be strong, precise, like in a pill. If you need to print the T-shirt, and with the role definition, the role purpose, it should be strong and So the questions like, what value this role bring to organization? If no value, maybe we don't need this role. Why do organization need this role? Or what happens if we remove this role? Yeah, because roles transformation didn't happen overnight, yeah? So it's not like, oh, we start Agile so we can get rid of all architects or managers. No, we try to transform that roles. We would like to, at the end, maybe some roles will missing, or we get rid of some roles, but we don't want to get rid of the people and skills behind the knowledge in the organization. So the purpose. So it's Agile by example, so let's take an example. Some middle manager role. Nice. So, somebody said that you should have a kitten in your presentation, that I have a kitten and good representation of middle manager. So, in short sentence, what's the purpose? I like this and steal it from the Lean, from the LESS framework. So the purpose is to build the capability of organization to deliver great product. You can feel how much is in this single sentence. In this capabilities, there are skills, working environment, and a lot of other stuff. So to be able to understand better the role, you can extend this purpose with some focus areas. Like this middle manager should focus on people skills. Why? Because we rely on good engineering practices, yeah? And good collaboration skills on work environment, because we don't want to have developers complaining about too low RAM in computer. This is just an example. It's not like it's not an example from Intel. I just created it for the sake of this presentation. But so this is the first concept, the purpose. The second one is emerging, enabling constraints. So governing constraints is this typical way of building the role definition, like this role should do this and this and this and this. It's like a recipe approach. It's our typical way of defining the roles in organization. While enabling constraints creates borders, and enabling constraints focus on borders within people can find the best way to perform in that role. So it's quite opposite. So it's not like putting this role should do this and this and this. It's like this role have a strong purpose, strong focus area, and this is all the area this role is not about. Can you feel that it is so powerful, that is so transforming to give it? It's like a freedom within the borders. It's an enabler for self-organization. It also answers the question, what this role should stop doing? If we have managers which do something like they micromanage, or they managers who are responsible for the products, so we can very clearly state that from now the manager should stop deciding about the product vision, product backlog. It also is a good tool for solving the situation when the people say, can you do that for me? Like, let's look at my role definition. Sorry, it's not in my role. Yeah, it's not in my role definition. I will not do that. It's quite opposite. It's assume responsibility. It's assume that this role should fulfill that purpose, should focus on some areas, and there is nothing about that this particular thing it's not in this role. Yeah, an example. Let's go back to our middle manager. So, enabling constraints. So, like, you can put like, do not decide about the product vision and backlog. does not decide how to develop the product, because the backlog is the responsibility of product owner, and how to develop the product is responsibility of the development team. We can also add things like behavior value stuff, like does not micromanage people. Yeah, so it's also, you can also use it to change the organization on the mindset value level. And if we are in a situation of conflict, when people stuck in some cooperation, they can refer to that. If somebody behaves like outside of the scope of the role, you can say stop. It's not like it should happen. Okay, so we have purpose, we have this enabling constraints concept, and now scaffolding. So let's go back for a minute to this story from Intel of the managers. So we didn't throw away all this work they did with writing down how this role should operate, but we changed the approach to those definitions. So scaffolding is something which you need when you build something new to give a shape and to stabilize construction. But when the construction is stable, you can get rid of this scaffolding. And that's how we use this list. We said it's not carved in stone. It's just a guideline for you to start how to behave in that role, how to be in that role, and it can be removed, it can be changed as when you see the better way how to perform that role. Because at the end we would like to embed the new behavior, the new role definition, the culture of the organization. So it's a scaffolding, something temporary. And the last concept is contracts. So now we have a purpose, we have some focus area, we have some constraints for role. But we have a different contexts in an organization. We have a very mature product owner with very mature team. We have new product owner with a team we have different products. We operate on different markets sometimes, so we need to have some flexibility to arrange the cooperation between the roles. So contracts create a space for humans to agree how to collaborate with each other. And I found many times that people start to collaborate without agreeing on how they are going to collaborate. They just start doing something together, and they stuck. Sometimes sometimes it's cooperative cooperation, sometimes not. So give them space. And how it looks like, just have a room, bring them together, and start discussing, and start with the needs. So the next example. Not middle manager, but architect and development team, because the contract can be between the person and between person in particular role and the team, for example. So start with the needs. So to succeed in my role, I need from you, as an architect, for example, update architectural documentation to reflect the changes in the code. Quite fair need from architect's perspective. From the other hand, we as a team would like to share information we need to make architectural decisions. So this is a way how we can transform existing role to more agile roles. So maybe at the end there will be not need for architect, but now we are in the moment we are as an organization, we have this role and we have this knowledge in the architect's heads, but we would like to transform it. And last minute, when you understand needs, we can define how we would like to cooperate together. So, summarizing 4 concepts: purpose, emerging constraints, scaffolding, and roles contracts. You can use it to to build strong role definition. And is it so simple? No, no, it isn't. But I have no time to reflect on that. But you can find me in the corner here. I will sitting next to the April. So you can also find me on Medium, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much.